Today we're going to look at some more proofs together to give you a better understanding of how to prove triangles congruent. So let's go ahead and get started on the first one. They say we have 6 lines on this one with 3 givens. So the first thing I do is I write one of my first givens. My first given tells me that AE is parallel to BD, and that of course is a given. Knowing that AE is parallel to BD also lets me know that angle A and this angle B right here are congruent. And I write that as angle BAE is congruent to angle CBD. And I know that by corresponding angles. Okay? Then my next given, that's an angle congruent, so I mark an A out beside it. The next thing they give me is AE is congruent to BD. This again is a given. So I mark that AE is congruent to BD. Okay. The last thing they tell me is B is the midpoint of AC. That's also a given. Knowing that B is the midpoint, I know another congruency exists, and that would be that AB is congruent to BC. And I know that AB is congruent to BC by definition of midpoint. Now, I had this side congruency here, and here's my other side congruency. So now I know I can write that triangle ABE is congruent to triangle BCD by side angle side. Okay, so that's the first proof we're going to go through. Please excuse my writing. I'm still getting used to this new pen I'm using. So let's look at our second one. Still 6 lines, only 1 given this time. So let's take a look at this given. They give me that DB is a perpendicular bisector of AC. So there's my given. Okay. B is a perpendicular bisector of AC. Now, from that, I can come over here and mark that I know that these two are right angles. That's from the perpendicular. So let's go ahead and write that down. I know that angle ABD and angle CBD are right angles. And that does not look right, so let me erase that and try and rewrite that a little better for you. I know that angle ABD and angle DBC are right angles. And that is by definition we would know that they're right angles by definition of perpendicular. Okay? Now, because I know that they are right angles, I know that these are two right triangles. But I need to look at the other information I'm given before I decide whether I need to prove that these are right triangles or if this is just going to be a normal, anything other than hypotenuse leg. So I have to look. They also say it's a bisector of AC, which tells me I have a congruence of AB and BC. So I know I can write AB is congruent to BC, and that's by definition of a bisector. Okay. So I have my first side congruence. Okay. The other congruence I do know is BD is congruent to itself. So BD is congruent to BD. That's by reflexive. Okay. So if I look here, this is not going to be hypotenuse leg because they tell me nothing about the hypotenusa. So I need to know if these two are right angles. I also know that angle ABD is congruent to angle DBC by definition of congruence. So now I can write triangle ABD is congruent to triangle CBD. And if I look up here, it's side angle side. So that's my postulate, side angle side. Okay, so that's 2 down, 1 to go. This next one, though, you need to be a little careful with this one because, again, you might have a right triangle. You just don't know. So you need to start with the two givens you're given. So I write my two givens first. AC perpendicular to BD. And then I write AB congruent to AD. These are both given. Okay. And the AB congruent to AD is a side congruence, so I'm going to mark that, AB, AD. Now, knowing that AC is perpendicular to BD means that right here at C, I have right angles. So this is actually right triangles, which means I could possibly have hypotenuse leg. How I find out is I find my other congruence. What's my other congruence? AC is congruent to itself. So looking at the information they've given me, this is definitely hypotenuse leg. So I'm going to put AC congruent to AC as my second to last as reflexive. And I'll put my last one in. We're proving that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle ADC. And we're going to be using hypotenuse leg. With these, when you have right triangles, you need to look ahead so you know whether or not you're using hypotenuse leg or you're going to use one of your other postulates. Because when you use hypotenuse leg, you not only have to prove that your two sides, the hypotenuse and the leg, are congruent, but you've also got to prove that the triangles are right triangles. And that's where the AC perpendicular to BD comes into play. So now I need to finish off my proof by proving that. So the first thing I can prove is angle ACB and angle ACD are right angles. Okay? And that's by definition of perpendicular. Knowing that ACD and ACB are right angles tells me that triangle ACD and triangle ACB are right Let's rewrite that. Give me just a second, guys. Okay, so that tells me that triangle ACD and triangle ACB are right triangles. And that's by definition of right triangles. Okay? And there you have it. There's the third proof we were going to work today. I hope this made sense to you. If it did not, please feel free to come in for tutoring. Thank you.